Oh, there we go. I always forget to push buttons whenever we have our guest panelist on with us, and you'll find out why in just a little bit. But until we get into that, I want to thank everyone for showing up to Music Scene Investigation today. Glad you're with us. We got a great show for you, and I'm going to start things out by reminding everybody that in 2 weeks we have another hit list we're going to be broadcasting the second Wednesday of next month. A new hit list will be determined, new hit list winner that is. In fact,
hit list.
I've got that whole bunny rabbit, that Bugs Bunny thing going on here, Elmer Fudd, the whole issue there. I'm trying out actually for the White House Correspondents' Dinner next year. I'm hoping to be invited. And I hear you have to be funny for that. I could be wrong, though. So, anyway, we're glad everybody's with us. Hit list is coming up, so please be aware we're going to be selecting our last member for April's hit list this week. They'll be going against the Jason Abel Project, the Getaway Car Band, and Rashan, who was the Song of the Week winner from last week. And speaking of winners, let's meet our panelists right now on today's MSI. Let's go around and say hello to Mr. Ian Husbands, all the way from London, England. Ian, how are you, sir?
You caught me mid-pour there. I was just about to pour myself a drink. I'm good. I'm having a few Skype issues, so I'll apologise now if I keep appearing and disappearing on Skype, and I will do my best to be there throughout the show.
Well, we're glad you're with us, and hopefully Skype won't bite you too many times.
It normally does, but you can't help that, you know.
Well, I mean,
otherwise, England seems to have gone back to the winter. We've had a rainy, cold weekend after last week's sunny, glorious weekend. So, yeah, it's not been the greatest from that point of view, but we had lots of friends over and food and drink and good stuff.
And I understand you also have statistics for us from last week.
I have some numbers, if that's what you mean.
That's absolutely what I mean.
I do. I've got the witness statement figures from last week. One of the best weeks of voting, actually, which is nice to see. And generally, our audience did agree with us that Class Warfare by Rashan, there you go, was best, but it only got 77% of the votes in Best Songwriting, 62% of the votes in Best Performance, and again 77% of the votes in Best Mix and Production.
So it really was overwhelming any way you look at it, though.
It was, but it wasn't, everyone with us. Other people disagreed.
Well, that's the great thing about the world we live in. Everybody has an opinion.
Indeed.
So there you go. Well, we're glad
Especially us.
Absolutely. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't. Tom Chianti from New York City. Hey, Tom, how are you? Welcome back.
Hey, it's good to be welcome, and it's good to have it back.
Well, you have both, apparently, so it's always nice to see. So,
I don't want to see his back.
By the way, Tom, how long today did you look at yourself in the mirror?
Well, until it broke.
Which wasn't very long then.
5 seconds.
And several cracks appeared before the strain got too bad.
Well, it happens, I suppose. You just have to get another mirror.
Well, I'm having to get a lot of other things also. We're right in the middle of installing a new Midas console at the studio. So there is miles and miles of cable to disconnect and reconnect. I have to reconfigure my central station, and it's all good, win-win, because in the end, it'll just make the cube better. And me also, I hope.
And that's what the main goal of everything is, right? It's always about getting better. You never want to go the other way.
This is true. I've been worse. Well, you know what I say. I've been better, I've been worse, but I've never been cuter.
Okay, well, as long as you believe that, Tom, we're all hoping the best for you. All right. Let's meet our guest panelist, journalist and musician, all around great person. We're glad to have her on the show every time we can get her on the broadcast with us. Miss Andrea Bensmiller from over at the Live to Play Network. Hey, Andrea, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Good.
Good.
How are you? It's been about a month or so since we've seen you. Hopefully everything's going all right.
Yeah, everything's going great. It's been a good year. Doing a lot of teaching. Slowly kind of getting back into the blog sphere. Right now, actually, I've spending a lot of time trying to pick out a tablet because it's about pool season here, and I need to be able to blog poolside. So
absolutely, that's a necessity.
Yeah. So I've been looking at what I want because there's some new ones out now. So
I guess the most important thing from a pool perspective is being able to read it and work with it outside, though.
That part is the hard part for sure. You can't really see the screen too well. So
yeah, there aren't too many out there that I've come across that you can actually use in full sunlight, other than like the old Kindles, things like that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't think blogging from a Kindle is gonna be too happening. So
yeah, and who wants to go out there with 2-year-old tech anyway, right?
Yeah. So, but otherwise, it's going great. Things are picking up in Vegas, and there's been a lot of great spring shows here. Really big people coming through. Bon Jovi was here. Prince was here this weekend. Some new bands. I got a chance to see Imagine Dragons at the Joint about a month ago. So really, some really cool stuff going on in Vegas right now. So
now everybody knows that you're a journalist. You work with the Live to Play Network, Sound Pro Live, and do a lot there. Not a lot of people know that you actually are a teacher of music as well. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that? Because I know that's what you've been concentrating a lot on lately. And just tell, the thing I don't understand is how all that works. Being a teacher, I get. Being a teacher of music's got to be harder than being a teacher of mathematics or something along those lines, because music is so subjective. So how does being someone who teaches music, teaches a musician, whether it's an instrument or voice or anything like that, differ from, something as a mathematics teacher or science teacher?
Well, I think right now there's a couple of things that I've been trying to incorporate into teaching, and one of them is a lot of my Berkeley stuff. That when you go to a school like Berkeley, which is so complete, you leave with this knowledge of a lot of things that you've spent a lot of time studying. And when you teach privately, you only get 30 minutes or an hour a week with somebody, and you're trying to distill down the most important parts of that stuff. So for me, teaching has become this kind of challenge about how to get all of the most important, great stuff down into my private lessons, so that when people come out of it, they can really play, or sing. Yeah,
it's a lot kind of like the Cliff Notes or the Reader's Digest of a Berkeley course or something like that. You don't have the semester long, 2 times, 3 times a week to be with the student, right?
Right. And, and there's so much to teach, especially when people are just starting out on their instrument. You're trying to put in a little bit of theory here and there, a lot more technique, some knowledge about basic music, how to understand how harmony works so that you're not lost all the time. So there's a lot to get down into that half hour, or if you're lucky, you get an hour with somebody. And I've kind of really tried to create my own system about that is really about years of doing this, what I think is the most important things to know as a player. Because you can learn a lot of things in music that won't necessarily help you much, Right. But if you're really trying to be on a stage or in the studio, there's really specific things that will help you do that. So that's my concentration really in teaching.
Now, are most of the students that you have who you work with, Are they musicians who are out there on the stage in the studio already? Or are they just people saying, "Hey, yeah, I've always wanted to pick up an instrument"? What kind of students are you specializing in working with today?
They're kind of all over the map. I have some adults that have been, doing their instrument and singing for a long time. Some of them are amateur weekend warriors who just want to get better. I have some newbie adults who have always just wanted to do it and decided at some point, they had waited long enough. And then I have a lot of teen and preteen singers. And they're really interesting because I think I've honestly never in my life seen as many young, really gifted singers as there are right now. I have like 3-star singers that are all of them are 13 or under, and the level of singing I think out there right now is just, especially with some of these kids who've grown up on hearing it, they are just so good for their age. So it's actually kind of fun because I get to see them not just progress, but I'm getting them to see them succeed already as performers, and that's really exciting.
So I guess the next question I have, talking about the kinds of students you have that you're working with, is it harder, more difficult to teach the students who are just picking up an instrument, or someone who's been playing for a couple of years or singing for a couple of years? Which is more difficult to work with?
It's really easy to work with people who are beginners because they haven't formed an opinion about their playing yet, which is one of the things that is kind of important as a student of anything. You need to kind of keep an open mind and listen to the people who know what they're talking about. So I find the hardest students I have are adults. Adults are really challenging. Very often they don't practice, and then they expect because they're already good at other things, they expect miracles to happen with their playing. And when that doesn't happen, sometimes they get discouraged and quit. So, I always tell my adult students, it's a lot easier for all of us if you've learned. I started playing guitar when I was 8. And of course, it's easy to pick things up when you're a kid. But, as an adult, you have to work a little more. So.
What about, you say, people are set in their mind or set in their ways, or sometimes more difficult. Bad habits? Do you get a lot of students coming in saying, yeah, I know what I'm doing here? How do you break them of some of those bad habits?
Yeah, that part's tough, because everybody thinks that the way they learned it is fine. And then, you'll show them the right way. And they kind of, they can see that I can play it faster than they can or better. But they're still going to hang on to that concept that, this is how I've learned it. And it's an important part of music, of being a great musician, is really, really getting some of the technique down. Doesn't matter whether it's under your fingers or with your voice. That technique really matters to your ability. So, when people hang on to it, I try to tell them, you can hang on to it all you want. It's not going to make you better, you know? So we try to get over that. Some people do, some people don't. I always consider it, it's a part of everybody's personal journey. So.
Now you said you'd mentioned that you were looking for a tablet to get back into blogging with a lot of stuff happening in Vegas this summer. I know you've got a number of events that are coming up, which I'm sure that Live to Play Network and Sound Pro Live are going to be covering. So what do you see on the horizon that you're going to be working on that you can let us know ahead of time?
I'm going to have to check in on the schedule for that this summer. I'm not exactly sure. There's been a few additions to the Live to Play team. From the blog side, and I know that the new people really really, really got in there, and at NAMM completely carried the show for that because I wasn't able to go this year. So yeah, I think, we're going to look at what's happening. I know that the conferences that typically happen, there's something, which one is coming to Vegas this year? I forget.
I know you got a summer South by Southwest event is going to be out there.
That's the one that's new. So, we'll have to see where everybody is and who wants what. But yeah, the thing about Vegas is it's almost challenging some days for me to figure out what to hone in on here because there's so much going on, There's so much great music and so many musicians in this town that
does it make it especially hard for new musicians who are coming out to Vegas to get out there, get gigs and stuff like that, since it's so many of them out there already?
Well, it's kind of a round robin here. People come and go. But the most important thing, if you're going to do that, is knowing that you're not going to waltz in any doors without, making some really good contacts and showing up and, being a good music friend. Vegas works on the same fundamentals that every part of music does, and that's that it's really about who you know and making friends and, doing your part in the community. And if you do that, chances are you'll end up, over time, it's not going to happen overnight, but over time, finding the gigs and finding the people who will rely on you. But you got to do your thing. You got to do your networking. You got to make some friends, get out there. And, I have to say too, there's some great musicians in this town. So you better really know how to play because, it's not at all the kind of place where you've got a lot of hack people. You've got some amazing people here. So yeah, if you're willing to do all that, it can work.
Well, I'll tell you,
Andrea.
Yeah, go ahead, Ian.
Just getting back to the teaching thing, there's a few guys in the chat sort of saying about, you said you've got a lot of newbie students who are adults. They're sort of saying that's probably the Idol effect, the effect of programs like The Voice and American Idol. Do you think that has an effect on your students to come and get lessons with you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This is a great period for voice instructors right now because it's not really just about the hype of Idol or the hype of The Voice. I think what's really happening is you're seeing so many amazing vocalists right now that people are starting to get the clue that they need to get better if they want to do this, even if they want to do it on a non-national way, So being a good singer is a lot of the technique has changed over the last 15 years, and not a whole lot of us teach the modern technique. So that drives a lot of my student business. Yeah, for sure. I have a lot of students who are really interested in that, and they're starting young, and thank God their parents see it and want to help them. That's an awesome thing, I think. And a couple of them I can honestly say, I can tell already, and 2 of them are only 11. They absolutely, without a doubt, will be professional vocalists.
So it's good to know that our youth is, still working at the things that, still have those dreams, being a rock star. There's nothing wrong with that. So
yeah, if it's one thing the shows give them, it's some of that hope. And, I can honestly say there's nothing wrong with that. This is it's often not a hopeful business.
Yeah.
So anything that encourages people to do their best, I think is, a great thing.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'd like to say I think there's a difference between a rock star and a pop idol, but that's another story for another time.
Right. Well, let's see if we have any rock stars or pop idols in the songs that we're going to review today after we hear from Tom.
Thank you, Rich. I have a question for Andrea. Because of the limited time involved and dealing one-on-one, have you ever made video tutorials or made them accessible to your students?
There are a few tutorials on the Live to Play site that I did late last year. Most of them are about things basically like theory and some piano stuff. I don't do vocal video, and I'll tell you why. It's such voice training is such a personal thing that I can't explain without hearing somebody what they need to do.
Yeah, not everybody has the same voice.
Well, and not only that, not everybody's making the same mistakes, and not everybody can understand how you're trying to teach it. So I adapt a lot to people in my lessons. So especially for voice, but for some of the other things, I've thought a lot about doing some more videos about those, about teaching guitar or bass or piano. Voice, I'd find it a really hard thing to do, I think. But you never know,
All right. Well, let's go on and take a listen to some of the songs we have today and find out if we have any candidates for stardom or not. I mean, when it really comes down to it, do we? I don't know. Let's find out.
The music, we can't say.
Well, let's hear some music then. What do you say? Let's go ahead and take a listen to song number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation. I hope you enjoyed, everyone.
Won't come early just to talk to you, and your face turned away like I'm used to. Is it money? No more thrills. I don't know what to do with you. Close my eyes, I can't see you. Shut my mouth, so I don't have to try and talk to you. Is it me? Is it you? Is it time for us to let it go? Trust me, I'm with you. Dream like you want it out. Tear me apart. You're the only one who knows. I'm already wrong. Why can't you tell that it's me that's been crying? Nothing gets me, but it's you that's been lying. When it's said and done, you're the one that runs. I think I might know what's your problem. Is it me? Is it you? Is it time for us to let it go? Trust me, I'm with you. Dream like you want it out. Tear me apart. You're the only one who knows. Just like the love that's gone between us, and I will make a point to see it's never enough. Words that remind me to be strong enough to show you no sympathy. I know I can't take much more. The things that were said are too far, were too hurt. And I've got just one thing to say. I know it doesn't matter. I say it anyway. Is it me? Is it you? Is it time for us to let it go? Trust me, I'm with you. Dream like you want it. Tear me apart. You're the only one who knows. I'm already
Song number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Let's go over to Mr. Ian Husbands and find out what he thought. Ian, your take on track number 1.
Yeah, well, good start to the show. I mean, the thing that really stuck out to me was the vocal recording. There was a lot of sort of silence in there in the intro, and no hiss, no nothing. The vocal was really clean. The vocalist put in a good performance. I mean, he's got that post-grunge voice again. We're going back to bands like The Calling and Alter Bridge and other bands like that. So, you know, from my point of view, as much as I like this sort of music, this is nothing new. It's that sort of post-grunge rock with a bit of a ballady edge in there. Lyrics were pretty good. Again, nothing mind-shatteringly new, but they fit the song well. And the vocalist carries off a good performance, like the use of the BVs. Lots of low BV stuff coming in there. Would have liked to hear some higher stuff, some higher harmonies and that coming in, just to thicken that vocal out in the chorus a bit more. But arrangement was good, very strong. Like the movement into the middle 8, and like where that went with the stops and that in there. And that little breakdown, it went to that amped vocal. The amped vocal is getting a little bit overdone for my liking. But the fact that it was just for a couple of lines and the whole band kicked in, it didn't cause me too much distress. That was around about 3-minute mark. Guitars are clean, bass is clean, drums are clean, everything's there. There's a nice dynamic in that mix. I think they could have pushed the mix a little bit more, get them guitars just a little bit more powerful and kicking in a bit more. But, I mean, I really haven't got much to say about the mix or production. It's been very well done. This is obviously a band that are out there, they're playing. And I think I would have liked to hear, I would like to have heard today one of their bigger, heavier numbers, because I think if they're doing that sort of music, they're going to have them, and they would have been a bit more powerful. But, yeah, it's a good start to the show.
All right. Appreciate it, Ian. Thank you very much. Let's go over to Mr. Tom Chianti. Tom, your take on track number 1.
Well, first off, Ian, how very, very interesting. I liked what Ian said, and I agree with a lot of it. I gotta say, hats off on the mix. This is, outside of personal preferences, this is good to go, radio-friendly release. The place I disagree with Ian is there's always place in rock for this type of music, or just about anything done well, and this was done well. You can argue the merits of song and lyrics and whatnot, and that's again going to be a personal preference. On personal preferences, they put a lot of effort into the vocal, and I like that. But I think they could have used less reverb overall on the intro. And it gave a nice space effect and stuff, but it lost the intimacy, because the intro really caught me. I think if it was a little bit more intimate on the intro, where less reverb and the vocal, you know, done as it was done, just a little bit more present, would have just taken that intro to the next level. As far as, you know, the telephone voice, tastefully done, the guitars and everything, like I said, it's an industry standard mix, and I think a lot of time, talent, and effort went into this, and overall, I really liked it. Outside of getting really nitpicky, you know, with personal preferences, I think they've done a job well done.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Tom. Thank you very much. And let's go to Andrea Bensmiller from the Live to Play Network. Andrea, what do you think of track number 1?
I'm going to echo a little bit of both Ian and Tommy. I love the song. Really great song. Love the guy's voice. And so well recorded. It's so nice to hear an indie vocal recording that is this warm and clean. These guys, I don't know who they paid to record it, but they really got their money's worth. It's a great recording. For once, I actually like the guitar sound. nice and warm, not overwhelming, not constantly in your face, not overwhelming everything else in the mix, which was really nice. I think it's a decent song. It didn't strike me as being one of those, over the top amazing hits, but certainly radio friendly. You're hearing a lot of this stuff by bands like Nickelback and, the rest of, I call them pop rock boy bands. That there's a little edge there, but they're really designed for kind of pop rock radio, and there's certainly a market for it. And this is a really well done version of one of those songs. Ditto on the arrangement. My take on the telephone EQ is that it is getting a little bit overdone lately. There probably was a better idea for that particular line. If you're a mix engineer, I strongly always encourage mix engineers to, if you think that the telephone EQ idea was good, keep going, because there's probably something better at this point in time. But yeah, I thought it's a great recording, and it's a nice song, great band, solidly performed, definitely marketable, and yeah, it was. I would listen to it on the radio. Don't know if I'd go out and buy it, but would certainly be impressed by the band and their efforts.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Andrea. Thank you very much. Let me take a moment to introduce that track to everyone. The name of that song is Already Won. The group is called Above the Flood. Above the Flood with Already Won. We appreciate your sending that into Music Scene Investigation. If you're a band or an artist out there and want your song in front of our panel, very easy to do. All you have to do is go to MusicSceneInvestigation.com, find the Submit a Song button at the top of the page, click on that, and you're halfway home. It's very easy after that, and we certainly hope you'll visit the site and take a look around. I think you'll find a lot to enjoy. So let's see. We got 2 more songs left to go. So let's go ahead and get to song number 2 on today's broadcast. This is the second song on this week's Music Scene Investigation. Enjoy it, everyone.
I do not know what it is that I don't know.
Track number 2 on today's music scene investigation. We'll take and go over to Tommy first. Tom, what's your take on track number 2?
Well, and so it's on. The war begins. This has been a great start to the show. 2 great songs. I really like this song. The lyrics, which I, really have trouble processing, were right there. They were interesting, sarcastic, ironic. They said a lot. Production is good and strong. Performances are good and strong. Let's see. Everything is there and done well. And the changes are done. What I think this mix is suffering from, and partially because of the hard panning constantly of the guitars left and right, is motion. Music, life, and mixes are all about motion. And to achieve that, you've got to really concentrate on the drive, what is pushing the song. In this case, the interplay between bass, guitar, and drums really substantiated drive. In that respect, the kick drum was a little too overbearing on the bass. The bass was playing good, but it got lost sometimes. Side chaining will help that. Decide what you want to separate and compress. You can either trigger your compressor from a secondary track using the kick on the bass, and this way the bass gets out of the way when the kick plays, or vice versa, and have the kick get out of the way when the bass plays. Either way, it would have helped the song tremendously in its drive, in its dynamic drive. And the other thing I noticed was, I'm not going to comment upon, the guy's vocal was great. I love the performance. And like I said, all the performances are great. This is a good song. It's well produced. My problems are with the mix. The hard panning of the guitars is a little distracting, and you can achieve more motion in your mix by assigning, instead of hard left-right, a space for separate guitars, Mixes are three-dimensional, top to bottom, front to back. There's plenty of places to put individual guitar parts and always catch somebody's attention with the movement of a guitar from left to right, front to back. Always, you've got to sustain that drive. And like I said, the kick I like the kick sound. It was just too big. And also the snare was moving in the stereo field, probably if it was a live kit, and I think it was, probably from the overheads, so more concentration on the snare, its placement. It got lost a little bit, especially in when the guitar's, distracting you. You really need something outside of the vocal to draw your attention to the center of the song and feel the pulse of the song. This recording is done well. It captured a moment in time, and I think that the mix falls a little short in representing that unique performance captured at a unique time. So, well done. Really rethink the mix. Balances are good, but positioning needs to be worked on. And again, side chaining on the bass or the kick drum would really have separated them better and really pushed this to the next level as far as drive, rhythm, and motion.
All right, Tom, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's go to Andrea, find out what she thought of track number 2. Andrea, your thoughts?
I agree completely.
Hang on just a second. I'm going to have you unplug your mic and plug it back in. We got a Cylon event going on here. It's
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like you're from outer space. So hopefully when you plug that back in, it'll be all right.
Check.
You're coming coming through your laptop mic right now. So you probably
check.
have say again.
Let me.
Yeah, now it's better.
Am I here again?
Yeah, you are.
Oh, okay, cool.
So what are your thoughts on
yeah.
track 2?
I agree completely with Tommy about the mix. It's a great song. Great performance. Really, really like the track in general. Those details about where everything sits. I really like the bass sound, but I would agree that the kick drum was a little bit overwhelming at times on it. Really nice guitar lines and ideas. I have no complaints about the sounds, the tones that they got for the guitar. This guy's voice is really interesting and, kind of harkens back to that punk sound that was really popular in the 80s. And I'd only be critical in one way, and that would be to say that it's a little bit harsh at times. And so personally, as a vocalist, I think it would benefit the lead singer to pull back a little bit on that hard frontal placement. Right now, it's really up into his nose.
Now, your audio is breaking up on me again, and I'm not exactly sure what I can do other than call you back on Skype at this point, because it's breaking up bad enough to where sometimes I hear you and sometimes it's Cylons on us.
Let me check something real quick.
All right, while you do that, I'm going to ask Ian to let us know what he thinks, and we'll come back to you after I get you back on with us, okay? So,
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and find out from Ian what his thoughts are with regards to song number 2. Ian?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that struck me about this was the groove. That's really where I'm at with songs. If it grooves, there's a good chance I'm going to like it. And this hit in straight away with a nice groove that got my head bobbing and my foot tapping, and that's a really good start. Love the bass tone. Again, agree with Tom, it did muddy the kick up a little bit, but the bass tone was nice. The guitar tones, as Andrea said, were generally good across the board. I mean, they're talking about the guitars being panned, and they were, and there was one guitar part, and it was almost like a lead guitar playing some really bluesy riffs stuck way over in the left, and I couldn't hear it properly. And it annoyed me because there were some really nice performances going on there, and that guitar needs to be brought out. A lot of the guys in the chat are sort of talking about the guy's vocals. Mentions have been made of Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins, which I can sort of relate to. I heard that as well. And I actually liked it. I mean, tuning, yes, you've got to be in tune, but there's certain parts with vocals where your intonation or your vibrato on your voice can sort of have an effect which might not be perfect to the ears, but kind of works for the track, if that makes sense. And I thought this guy's performance was very good. His voice is quirky, it's interesting. It's not harking back to that post-grunge sound, which we get a lot of vocalists on here that sound like it's new, it's fresh, in a retro kind of way. And I love that. Again, Tom was talking about the movement in the track, and I agree. It's got the groove, it's got the song, it's moving. There's a nice little bridge into that chorus. There's some strong lyrics going on, but it kind of just didn't lift that chorus as much as I would have liked it to. Instead of having that sort of overdriven blues sound on the guitar, I would have gone for the sort of more overdriven rock sound and really heavied that chorus up a little bit and thickened those guitars up a lot more, just to give it that dynamic change and that lift. There was some nice underlying R vocals as well, sort of some backing vocals. And again, they were sort of like stuck somewhere below the lead vocal, and they were there, and I just wanted to hear more of them. It really was a level thing with this mix. Just said some great lyrics, lines like, "This young god is too easy to break," taking on a trip to outer space, which I'm guessing outer space or something like that is probably the title of the track. It's got its hooks. More harmonies on that lead vocal I would have liked to heard as well. Again, the guy was doing a great job. His voice was out there. Just like to hear it thickened up in places for some harmonies and bits and pieces going on. But overall, again, another strong song, a good groove, and I think with a bit of tidying up, this is just as commercial as the first track.
All right, Ian, I appreciate that. Thank you very much for your thoughts as well. Now, I am in the process of trying to get Andrea back online with us, as you can see there in the center screen. So I'm certainly hope that I think she's restarting Skype right now, which is something that I had to do on my end as well. So let's see if we can. I don't see her online yet, so I'm going to wait on that and try and get her back with us. I do want to take and give her a chance to finish out her review, however, so I don't want to introduce that song just yet. So while I'm waiting for her to come back online, I'll take the opportunity to remind everybody that over at butterfliesradio.com, one of our friends and partners in the indie music biz, they're bringing back Mark. Mark has been out of the country. I guess he was exiled or something. I'm not sure what happened. But he's
I thought
back.
he was campaigning to be the leader of some small African nation.
He may have been. He may have been.
Ready?
Well, what I heard is he snuck back into the country, and I'm not sure if he's on an assumed ID, passport, or whatever. But he is back in the country, and they're going to be bringing back Twitter Tuesday Live. That's this Tuesday coming up, the 30th of April. And we're looking forward to having them back on MSI Radio as well as over at Butterflies Radio. So you can go to either place to listen to it. It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's always a good time. If you give them a shout on Twitter, they give you a shout out on air. And it's a lot of fun. So I'm hoping that they are back and Mark doesn't have anybody knocking on his door or in the middle of a show trying to, sneaking back or forcing back out of the country. That kind of thing happens all the time, I guess. I don't know.
I heard he was born in Kenya.
He very well could have been. He could have been. I don't know.
And he hasn't produced proof of his birth certificate yet. So,
yeah, I have. I don't know.
Back to another comment to the other song that we just heard.
Sure, Tom.
A reference, it kind of reminded me, because of the vocal performance, of a heavier, updated version of a song from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Really, a Rocky Horror Picture Show track. That's something I never would have thought of.
That's a bit of a jump to the left.
Exactly.
And a step to the right.
I agree with Ian that there were parts where the lead vocal could have used some support with, in and out little vocal harmonies when it was out there all on its own. But, now we're, really getting into it. But the song, is a great effort and it deserves the biggest view we can give it. And if we've helped in any way, so be it.
All right. Well, I appreciate your additional thoughts on that while we're trying to get Andrea back online with us. Unfortunately, I'm not having much luck at the moment, so what we may have to do is we may have to move on to our third song. So what I'll do, I guess, is go ahead and introduce this track to you, and I'll continue to try and get Andrea back on with us, so I'm not going to give up on that. But
It surprises me that she's having technical problems when it's normally you having technical problems when she's on the show.
I know, it's a bizarre thing, but, stranger things have happened, so... at this point, I'm, nothing surprises me anymore.
There she is.
I see her just coming on. So let me give her another call, and hopefully we'll get her back on with us so that we can have her finish her thoughts on the track. So it says it's ringing on my end, so we'll see what happens.
It's always ringing on your end, Rich.
Yeah, my head always rings. I don't know anything else to say other than that. So we do have Andrea back with us, and let's continue on with her. We heard from Ian, Andrea, so hopefully everything's working okay on your side right now.
Well, we're doing a little experiment today.
Okay.
Because I lost my computer here. So remember how I was bragging about my phone earlier?
Sure.
I just installed, let's see if it actually installed. I'm trying to install the MSI app here real quick
Okay.
so that I can hear the next track. Because
Yeah, you'll have to listen to it over the MSI radio section.
yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
Okay.
So let's see. It does seem to be there.
Yeah, probably you'll pick up when you listen to the radio. It'll be delayed a certain period of time.
So I'm gonna actually get out of that real quick so I don't hear myself talk.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, this second track. Let me find my notes here.
Yeah, I really want to hear your thoughts on that track after we heard Ian and Tom's. Didn't get to hear all of yours, so whenever you're ready.
The hold on, I'm still trying to turn this off. I keep hearing you and I talk what we just said.
Ah, I gotcha.
Redundancy.
Yeah, the radio application is great for listening when you're out on the road, but when you're trying to do a broadcast, it's kind of confusing.
Where did it go?
There's somewhere.
If I could just find it, that would actually be helpful. Let's see.
It's the app with a big.
Switch gears. I think it's great.
It's always normally, Andrea, it's me causing all the tech problems and having all the tech problems. So I'm just happy that, well, I'm not happy that anybody has tech problems. Let me say that up front, but
Look,
I'm just
But
glad
isn't
it's
it
not
funny
me.
that they only happen when I'm on your show?
That's the thing. That's exactly it.
In all fairness, Andrew, it's not just you; it's any female that Rich seems to have problems with.
No, it's Andrea.
Well, that's either a compliment or just, I don't know.
It's a compliment. Trust me on this one. So, did you find the radio app, Andrea?
I'm looking. It's running in the background, but it's not showing me where it is. It's
Should
funny.
be in your browser. It is a browser app.
Yeah, in Safari.
Oh, okay. So here, let me let's see. How do you turn it off?
Should
Press
be
the stop button.
Get a hammer.
now. There should be the play button right beside or the stop button and play button at the top. A lovely app, by the way. If you go to musicsceneinvestigation.com on your phone, you can see exactly what Andrea is looking at and experience the same issues she is.
It's super cool. I love it. Okay, I think I managed to turn it off. For a
Okay.
Hey.
Good.
Yay. Okay. So what I thought about this last one. Yeah, what I was saying was that the vocalist, though it's a really interesting sound that he's got going on with his voice, particularly for this style, that it's not going to be, because of that, it's not going to be pleasant to everybody. And personally, I would find it better if he would just pull back out of this hard frontal placement that he's got going, because he's actually a much better vocalist than you would hear going on in this particular track. He's got, a really good voice, and he probably has a little more depth to it if his placement wasn't so hard to the front. So that's, if he was one of my students, that's what I would coach him to do, is to kind of pull back a little bit on that harsh nasal sound. It comes through very hard in the track, and that works for this particular song, but you might find that there are people who kind of tune him out because of that. Otherwise, I thought the track was great. It was such a good song, really well balanced in terms of the arrangement and the recording. I totally second Tommy's stuff. I didn't hear Ian's review, unfortunately, so
It was great.
I'm sure, as always, it always is Ian. So So yeah, let's try to move forward and see if I can stay with you here.
All right. Well, let's try and do that. I'm going to take the opportunity to introduce the track number 2. Track number 2 was called, as Ian aptly put it, Outer Space, and it's by Joel Strouss. So, Joel, we appreciate your sending that track into Music Scene Investigation. All right, let's go ahead and take a listen to track number 3 on the broadcast. So here it is, everyone. This is the third track of the day. Hope you enjoy it as well. Here it is.
The taste is passion, a lust is so dry. A love is soaring, how does she get by? Her green magic eyes are passing me by. She moves through the night, leaving me dry. She knows my weakness, that treasure inside. Feeding me softly like greed on a vine. The smell of her scent is a drug to my head. Tired of my ways, I'm lost in her gaze. Oh, flying above the sky, her love is paradise. I can't let go. Dream of her touch tonight. Her love is paradise. Oh, her love is paradise. I can't let go. Paradise. It's hypnotizing, playing my mind. I can't let go now, 'cause she is all mine. Her green magic eyes are passing me by. She moves through the night, leaving me dry. Oh, yeah. Flying above the sky. Love is paradise. Oh, love is paradise. Oh, dream of her touch tonight. Love is paradise. Love, don't leave me. She knows my weakness. Love is paradise. I can't let go. I've got to be strong. Flying above the sky. Love is paradise. Love is paradise. Dream of her touch tonight. Love is paradise. Could she be all mine? Flying above the sky. Love is paradise. Love is paradise. Dream of her touch tonight. Love is paradise. Love is paradise.
That is track number 3 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Now, I know that Andrea is still listening to that track because of the delay in the way the radio works. So I hope she heard enough of it to make a review on it, and we'll go over to Andrea and find out what she thought of track number 3. Andrea, did you get a chance to hear most, if not all of that?
I did, Rich. Wow. God, I think these 3 tracks today just prove that there just aren't enough label record companies out right now, because this one, yet another really, really great track. This one I think it's musically, I really attached to it because it has this kind of 80s throwback sound to me, with the kind of new wave feel, a little bit of electronic feel in it. Nice voice, really good mix. It's not modern to me. The mix, it didn't sound like anything that's really out there right now. But I kind of like that about it. It's a little bit retro in its feel. Well arranged. I'm not sure if I'm getting the full sonic experience on the phone, so I'm going to leave that to Tommy and Ian. But as a song, like the singer, like the vocalist, really nicely done. Nice vocal track. So I don't have anything really negative to say about it. Usually I would nitpick at the mix, but I'm not going to do that today on this particular device. So yeah, I really liked it though. Really, really liked it. Interesting song. Nice hook on the chorus. So overall, I really liked it.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Andrea, and we'll let Tom and Ian get nitpicky. So let's go to Ian, find out what he thought. Ian, get nitpicky, I guess.
I am going to get a bit picky on this, actually. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a great track. There is a really very good, hooky, soulful vocal going on there. Some nice harmonies and bits and pieces like that. The bridge into the chorus is amazing. The muted sort of ska reggae acoustic guitar going in there is fantastic. Overall, the arrangement and everything is strong. I didn't like the 80s feel at all. That really detracted from me for this. I'm a big fan of Chris Cornell, the lead singer of Soundgarden, and I followed his career in bands like Soundgarden, Audio Slave, as well as his solo career. And one of his last solo albums he put Timbaland as the producer, a hip-hop producer, who essentially is a rock artist. And as much as you listened to the album and heard some great songs, you knew that if Timbaland hadn't produced them, they'd be even better. And eventually, another producer ran out a few rock mixes of a couple of tracks on that album, and I enjoyed those songs a lot better. And this is where I'm at with this. I like this. I like the song a lot. I like the vocalist a lot. I don't like the production. And I think with a different producer, giving it a harder edge, a more rockier edge, this, to me, would be the best song of the night. It's that 80s, that horrible 80s tom sounds and stuff going on. No, we're past that now. Samples can sound real, and this needed a real kit, not them horrible beats. It was the 80s edge that ruined it for me.
All right, Ian, I appreciate your nitpickiness and thoughts on that. Let's go to Tom. Tom, what do you think of track number 3?
Well, I agree with Ian in a lot of things. He got the 80s vibe, which I think, depending upon when this was actually recorded, because we get submissions by people who, have current projects or past projects that they've done that they think are well done and are, and this may fall into either category. I don't know. So it may have been done, several years ago, or it may be that capture of a specific moment in time re-expressed, because it accomplishes, well, first off, it addressed everything I said about the other two tracks. There's motion, dynamics, well balanced, the vocalist and his performance is good. Things keep popping in and out. It's all very interesting, which I think, even though Ian says that retro 80s feel, it detracted for him, I think it's really a personal, artistic expression of a type of song. Can this be done differently? Absolutely. Can it be done better? I don't know. There are so many ways to produce a song that you eventually have to make a decision. I like this guy's or person's or whoever was involved. I liked their decision, just about every one of them. I mean, it's well done. And if it must be set into the categories of 80s, well, it's an excellently done 80s track and deserves attention just for being that. This is probably one of my most favorite tracks I've ever heard on MSI, and that's a strong statement coming from me. It's performance, it's everything, motion, mixed well. Who knows? I might have mixed it in my sleep. No, I'm kidding. These guys did a hell of a job, and I think they made very decisive artistic decisions to make a statement. And I like the statement. I like everything about this song, what it says. I have no problem with it being an 80s vibe track. I like the music in the 80s. It was danceable. You could listen to it. You could party with it. It was uplifting. And, there were various other genres that approached things from different areas and levels. So it's a slice of life. And that's what music is. Little independent slices of life that people want to present and share or make money from. I think this does all that and could possibly make money. I think if people could get past personal bias of their feelings about 80s and 80s music and appreciate it for what it is well done, well performed, well written, well mixed, well produced. I like everything about it.
All right, Tom. Well, I appreciate your thoughts on that. And let me take a second to introduce that track to everyone. The name of that track is called Paradise. The group is called New Nobility Band, so we appreciate their sending that in to Music Scene Investigation. Now, before I throw it to our panelists to get their thoughts on a Song of the Week pick, I want to invite everyone out in the audience to let us know what you thought. Go to musicsceneinvestigation.com/witness. File your witness statement there. Let us know what you thought, and let us know who you would have picked as well. So now off to our panelists. The task we give you guys every week, selecting a Song of the Week. I'm going to ask you to do it again. What do you think, gentlemen and lady?
Ladies first.
Ian, you're just...
This
I'm a
week
gentleman.
is really tough. It's really tough. Wow. I can honestly say it has not been this tough since this show. The 3 really, really strong tracks, all of them solidly recorded with, tiny little nitpicky things. I'm going to go with number 1. And really it's by a margin. It's really, really by a slight little sliver of margin. I think the recording on number 1 is almost flawless. And to me, if something can be put on the radio today, it deserves recognition for that. And so I'm going to go with number 1. Though I'm going to say honestly, I like the other 2, and I in another show where they were up against some maybe weaker adversaries, both of them could have won. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with number 1.
Nothing's won yet.
That's true. That's true. All right, Tommy and Ian.
I'm going to let Ian go first because I think it's about time he stood up and be counted.
I'm going to stand up and be counted. We've had 3 great tracks on tonight. Number 3 is a no-no for me, just because of that 80s vibe. I didn't quite feel fitted the song. Number 1, I really appreciate that song for what it is, but I've got 100 of them songs on my iTunes that I already listen to and already love. So I'm going to go with number 2. It's quirky, it's different, it's upbeat, it's got a strong groove, and if I go away from tonight, that's going to be the song I remember.
All right. Tommy, tough decision for you to make here, friend.
Not really, Rich. I agree with everything my esteemed colleagues have stated. They're all strong tracks, but in the end, for me, being the technical person that I am, one and two have issues, especially two. I love the guy's performance, but the panning and lack of motion and the drive all could have been better. Number one, well, I was seriously considering number one until Ian just stated that he's got 100 of them in his iPad. And number two, I actually do like enough where I might even ask Alana to buy it for me because I don't buy music. I'm gifted with it. I have a history of being spoiled. My father was in the music business, so through the 60s, 70s, and 80s, I never spent a dime buying an LP or a CD. My father just got them direct from the record label.
Right.
So,
right. So what do you think, Tom?
Number three.
Number three. So we have a hung panel
decision.
Yeah. So what I need to do right now is not only thank you guys for your stint on the panel and your thoughts on the songs, but we need to turn it over to our audience, everybody in the chat room, and over at the witness statements. We should do a flash check on the witness statements, Ian.
That's exactly what I was going to suggest. I'm going to put the witness statement link in the chat again.
If you haven't voted on the witness statement, it's musicsceneinvestigation.com/witness. That's for everyone out there who is not in the chat room for whatever reason. Want to make sure you get your vote in, make sure the song you want gets selected as Song of the Week. Head there now. Again, that's musicsceneinvestigation.com/witness. If you're in the chat room, the link has been placed there. You can also select it, and it'll take you directly to that. And we'll have Ian take a read on that as we go along here. And find
I'll
out
tell you
what,
what, if you're listening and you're on Twitter and you want to sort of make your voice known on there, drop us a tweet at MSI Labs, and I'll take your votes on there as well.
All right.
So we're about to give them a couple of minutes and to get their votes in, and then we'll have a look.
All right. Well, we can definitely do that. Tom, you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah. Since, and this has never been really specifically addressed, but I have an idea that may add some more suspense and drama to this already taut melodrama.
As if we don't have enough already.
I would like the winner to be based on the witness statements, the tweets, and what they say in the chat, all taken into consideration and announced next week.
No, we can't do that, Tom.
I have to say, well, it is a very suspenseful way of holding that, over. I agree with Ian, unfortunately. And the reason why we can't is because we feature our Song of the Week on the website the whole week long. And we don't want to do injustice to whoever may be selected by not being able to feature them until, the answer is given next week. So, but I do think it's a great idea, Tom.
Was a suggestion and something for future reference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Ian.
Right, I'm going to check them now. I'm hitting the buttons to view the results.
All right.
Drum roll, someone, please.
All right. Consider a drum roll given.
Oh, that was rubbish.
Yeah, well, I don't want to cut you out because Skype cuts out Skype and I cut out everybody.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's not song one.
All right. So Above the Flood, unfortunately, is not the Song of the Week selectee.
It's also not song two.
All right, so that means Joel Strouss, unfortunately, did not make the Song of the Week selection. Sounds to me like it's going to be song number 3 with
Song
the
number 3 is, yep.
new Nobility Band and their track Paradise being our selection by everyone out viewing the show today, and Tommy, I guess. So there you have it. Tom, you're right.
But every song did get a vote in some sector or another, so people are showing appreciation for all the songs.
I have no doubt about that. Tom, would you like to say anything in closing?
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting. I'm just excited. I want to say
First time for everything.
Yeah, I just want to say it's not a victory for me because whoever wins, it's a victory for them, no matter who votes what.
I'll tell you, I can hear you better if you sit behind the microphone instead of in front of it. Go ahead. Say again. Yes, better.
It's not, to me, what's really important is being right or wrong is a matter of perspective. I think the winner of any of the weekly shows we do is really earned it. And in this case, it was a tough call and very close. And as always, you guys are very professional, despite my excitement. And I'm just happy for them. That's all.
Being excited is good, and we definitely are anytime we hear great music on MSI, which we usually do. So we really appreciate everybody's vote out there. Thank you very much for making that so. Andrea, I know you had some issues with tech. We all do, especially me. We appreciate you being with us and hanging in there and muscling your way through it, though. Perseverance is where it's at as her video freezes on us.
Hey, fantastic.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. But we definitely appreciate the fact that Andrea was with us, that everybody out in our audience was with us as well. Thank you so much for being here on today's Music Scene Investigation. We're going to play out with the new Nobility Band and their song Paradise after I ask Ian the always important question of who's our guest next week, Ian?
I'm not on the page. You caught me offhand. I was so excited by the results and the suspense this week.
I know who it is.
It's Mr. Dave Carrera's returning.
Absolutely. So we look forward to having Dave back with us, and hopefully you as well out in the audience. Please join us again next week. MusicSceneInvestigation.com. Same time, same place. We'll be here again. Now let's end it with Nobility Band and their song Paradise. Here it is, everyone. Enjoy. Thanks for being with us.
Bye.
The taste is passion, her lust is so dry. Her love is soaring, how does she get by? Her green magic eyes are passing me by. She moves through the night, leaving me dry. She knows my weakness, that treasure inside. Feeding me softly like greed on a vine. The smell of her scent is a drug to my head. Tired of my ways, I'm lost in her gaze. Flying above the sky, her love is paradise. I can't let go. Dream of her touch tonight. Her love is paradise. Oh, love is paradise. I can't let go. Paradise. It's hypnotizing, playing my mind. I can't let go now, 'cause she's all mine. Her green magic eyes are passing me by. She moves through the night, leaving me dry. can't let go. I've got